space fairies. If you watch Little Moments, then you'll know that I go to Forbidden Planet and Waterstones, or if Waterstones is closed then Foils, quite a lot. And when I do, Tom and Amy can confirm, I always beeline for the same section, and that is like the independent / small press / self-contained graphic novel section, unless I go to Gosh Comics in Soho, because that's what the entire shop is. The entire shop is that section. From a very young age, I was really into comics, but without ever having actually read one. Apart from like the daily Peanuts or Garfield strip on the back of the newspaper, that was kind of like my awareness of comics. All I knew is that pictures with speech bubbles were my favourite way to read and actually tell stories. So without ever realising that there was kind of this massive industry built around this very simple concept, I just kind of drew comics for myself. Then as a teenager I obviously started becoming aware of more, I guess, mainstream heroes and characters like Marvel and DC stuff, but that world was huge, and in the very small village of Larkfield, Kent, it honestly didn't feel like I had a lot of ways into that world. And it's a big world, like it's a big world with multiple timelines, interlinked characters and stories and backstories and his stories and lore, and I didn't know where to begin. So I didn't begin, and I just borrowed manga from the school library. By the way, huge shout out to whatever library prefect just had the random insight to order the entire series of Fruits Basket to my tiny little Maidstone grammar school library. I don't know who you are or how you got that signed off, but it meant a lot to me, so thank you. But even now, as an adult, right here, apart from the MCU, which I love, and also Squirrel Girl, which Eddie has been lending me, I still find it really difficult to engage with that part of the comic world. But you know what, that's fine, because instead I found a small, actually no, massive part of the comic book world that I really love. And these are small one-off stories or small series by online or independent artists, and they're fun and they're colourful and they can say what they want because they're just one person making an incredible thing. And there are so many out there with beautiful art styles and amazing, intricate, like personal, heartfelt stories. And also, increasingly, that kind of really specific sense of humour that comes from just like living on the internet. So I've fallen in love with that section of the book or comic store, and over the years it's helped me find these amazing gems that I never would have been aware of otherwise. So I'm going to share with you today some of my favourites. They're probably already on screen, I didn't hide that from you very well. First up we have Anyas Ghost, which I got from Forbidden Planet in London. This is actually the debut graphic novel by Vera Brosgol, who is from Moscow, Russia. So you can tell there's been a lot of personal history and experiences kind of inspiring the character of Anya, who is the protagonist, as you can quite clearly tell, because Anya and her family are from Russia, and occasionally you see the characters speak in Russian, and it's kind of like a beautiful ghost story slash fairy tale for teenagers or for the 21st century. So Anya is a teenage girl with low self-esteem who falls down a well and meets a ghost, and I won't say anything more than that because I don't want to ruin it, because it is a beautiful story. But the style is so soft and rounded and expressive and gorgeous, and Anya herself is just such a wonderfully relatable character. There's this quite heartbreaking panel later on where you see her looking in the mirror and her reflection is kind of a distortion of her actual body, and that's obviously how she sees herself, and recommended by Neil Gaiman. So Anyas Ghost by Vera Brosgol, I think is how that's pronounced, sorry if it's not. Next up we have Princess Ever After by Katie O'Neill. Now I first discovered this as a Tumblr comic. So I was scrolling Tumblr and you saw the first couple of pages and then you had to click read more to read the next couple of pages, and it was just this beautiful story about two princesses who fall in love with each other. Also there's a really cute pony, it's very good. And again, it's kind of a modern 21st century fairy tale, but as you can see it is kind of set in that typical medieval faux fantasy world, but it really subverts fairy tale expectations, I suppose. Like, you have your princess who's a damsel in distress, but she's saved by another princess, and then there's kind of a wimpy prince, there's a giant who's friendly who just wants to dance, and again the art style is absolutely gorgeous. It's very colourful quite romantic somehow and very charming, and it has princesses falling in love, and the ending makes me cry, and you will cry too actually. Next up, Nimona. If you don't know Nimona, then you're lying, because I've seen how many of you have read Nimona in my comments before. I like it because strong female protagonist, amazing wacky internet sense of humour, beautiful art style, and also just Noelle Stevenson is just like the most amazing person in the world. Also, I kind of just love the book's running theme of just like monster girls, or the monster within, or just girls who are perceived as monsters, or who just want to be loved, or think that they're monsters but they're not. There's a lot going on with monsters and girls, but trust me, it's a wonderful, wonderful book. And also really long, like this will keep you going for a while. And finally, this one I discovered literally by accident in Waterstones, For the Love of God Marie. Fun fact, this was written by someone who went to the same university as me and graduated the same year. So I just went to university with this author. The whole book is incredibly sex positive, as you can probably tell from the cover. So it's set in the 60s to the 90s, so it takes place over quite a long time, and it's about this Catholic schoolgirl who takes the religious teaching of love thy neighbour extremely literally. So it's like, she's not loving mankind, she's making love to mankind. And she's kind of this beautiful, understanding but misunderstood soul who just empathises so heavily with kind of the downbeaten and the outcast. And she uses sex to show that she's embracing them and that she loves them for who they are. So she just builds these lasting friendships with people who society have turned their back on. And her parents just see her as this troubled, promiscuous, horrible person. And she's just like, you know what, I'm loving everyone as God teaches. I'm just doing it in my own way, and I'm comfortable with who I am, and also I'm awesome. And I think she's very awesome. And this book is awesome, and all of these books are awesome. So For the Love of God Marie by Jade Sarson. I'm actually sitting here looking at my bookshelf at all my comic books, and I've got a lot to get through, and I'm wondering if I should just make lots of videos recommending some. Is that something you'd like to see? Would you like to see what is on the rest of my graphic novel bookshelf thing? Should I do hauls? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, maybe I will. In the meantime, if any of these books were of interest to you, I'd say definitely check them out. Or if you've read them already, let me know, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. In fact, yeah, comment and let me know some of your book recommendations, especially if they're anything like these ones.